This is Joe Bennett. I'm the president of Talent Raiders, and it's a pleasure to do this interview with you. Can you please state your name and the name of your band?
Hi guys, my name's Maximilian Karbutz. I'm the drummer of Core the Band.
Okay, can you tell us how you came up with that name?
That's a story we always get asked. I came up with the name with our lead singer Jacob Gale. Basically, we signed up for a festival without having a name, so we were like, "Come on, we got to think of something cool." And then we landed up picking the most generic name in the world, Core.
Okay.
And then we thought maybe that doesn't describe us enough, because that could be anything. Core could be anything, right?
Right.
So then we just decided to put the name in Core the Band. But it happened to then create a further meaning to us.
And what is that?
And for us.
What is that further meaning? Since you brought it up.
The deeper meaning would be that we became really close, like a family, as this has been going for like a couple years already. Especially the lead singer and me, and our first member to add on to the band, the bass guitarist Sifis. And we basically became like a family, so it felt like like we were inside the core.
Great.
Core of the band.
Great. Very good answer and very great meeting. Where are you guys located?
So we located on a little island called Crete, if you've heard of it.
Yes.
And it's south of Greece. It's almost the most southern part of the Mediterranean.
Okay, and that's awesome. And I've seen lots of great pictures of Greece. It's beautiful, beautiful country. What's the music scene like in Greece? Just a little tidbit.
I'm not going to say non-existent. Well, for our genre,
it's
I'd
Core
say
the Band,
it's
right?
not that good.
Not just
Core
Core
the Band is not that good.
Right. But I mean, so as far as like genre, what would you say like is the number one genre in Greece or Crete? I mean, is a lot of metal, a lot of rock? You have some country music in there. What's the main genres in Greece?
Okay, so in Greece, I would say the most popular of the underground music, because we belong to the underground scene, basically.
Right.
As pop rock, rock band, we are on the underground scene. Now, the most popular genre for the underground scene, I would say, is metal, for sure.
Excellent. And then what would be the next most popular genre, would you say, other than that?
Well, the next most popular genre would probably be progressive rock, modern rock. They pretty stuck up on a certain amount of a certain type of music, I should say.
Well, that's great because here in the United States, the number one genre is probably country music, but the president of Talent Raiders, if you don't know already, is a rocker. I've always been a rocker. I love rock music. I love all genres, but I most connect with rock music and metal, and I just find it to be a very beautiful art form. So it's nice to know that people are rocking in Greece. It's pretty cool.
Definitely. Yep.
Very excellent. So I'm going to move on. What do you consider your genre of music to be? You kind of said it already, but why do you most connect with it? So restate your genre, and why do you most connect with it?
So I'd go and say that our genre is pretty much indie pop with rock in it. Okay. So we connect with that because it's like, we're a bunch of youngsters. Me being the youngest, I'm almost 19, but
okay.
When it comes to like all getting together and playing music and stuff, it's nice to have cool melodies at the same time rocking out,
Right, and I imagine
that's why,
as a drummer myself, and I've been playing drums for a long time now, probably over 33 years. I'm actually pretty good. We should jam sometime. I would say
totally.
that when you find that genre, it's a feeling. I think it's a feeling that the connection is that feeling. It's in your spirit somewhere, and you say, you know what? I feel this feeling most with indie pop rock, and I am really one with this music. Could I possibly do like a jazz piece? Sure, I could probably do it, but do I feel as connected with that as this indie pop rock? And that I think that's basically what you said. And if I relate, say I like to listen to some country music, but man, metal and heavy metal and rock and hard rock and alternative just take me to another place, you know. So, and I think that's
Exactly. Yeah.
what you're kind of saying. So,
Got you. Yeah.
very cool. How long have you guys been playing together?
So, Jacob and I, our singer and me, were basically jamming about 7 years ago, I'd say.
Okay.
6 to 7 years ago. And then we decided to create the band. And from then onwards, it was about 5 years so far.
5 years for Core.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Excellent. So you have a lot of experience already playing, and that's really good. Now, we'd like to know, introduce us to the band. They're not here tonight, but let us know who are the band members of Core, and what are their names and their roles.
So, Core the band consists of 5 members. I'll start with myself again, Maxi Karbutz, Maximilian. I'm the drummer and I do backing vocals. Then we have Jacob Gale, who's our lead singer, and he also plays guitar, rhythmic guitar. Then we have Lelos Theodorakis, Greek names. His name's Lefteris, which
Pretty
is for short we call him Lelos, and he's the guitarist, the main guitarist. And the funny story with him is that he's never played guitar in his life. Sorry. He'd never played electronic guitar in his life. And then he decided to just pick it up one day and join the band. He's a traditional Cretan musician. He plays like the Cretan violin and other Cretan
Never
instruments.
played it before.
And then
Picked it up and probably kicks ass. Right? Never played it before.
Yeah,
I
he's
tried to
pretty
pick it,
awesome.
and he's pretty awesome. That's what I was going to say. That's pretty cool. Go ahead. Continue.
Okay, so Sifis Leonakis, he's our panda. He's the jolly bassist, you know, the bassists are always crazy and fun.
Yeah.
And self-taught, as all of us are. And then last but not least is Artemis. He's our tattoo artist guy who does backflips on stage and stuff like that. And he does, he's in charge of all the backing tracks, the special effects, and basically getting us all to sound awesome.
That's
at gigs.
fantastic. And I noticed that I want to touch on something, because you mentioned we're all self-taught. I myself am self-taught, and I just think there's a special quality that comes from being self-taught. I think if you get training, formal training, you're still good, but when you're self-taught, you just have so much more range and where to go, because you're learning from within. You're kind of following the influences that are out there, but you're also kind of creating your own style. You're kind of doing your own thing. Would you kind of agree with that?
For sure, I'd say that being self-taught gives you better flow. I'd say.
Right. That's even better than I put it. Very, very nice. Do you want to talk about personalities, a little bit about yourselves? I know you just kind of mentioned, we introduced us now. Now, what are some of the personalities? I mean, tell us a little bit about the band itself.
Oh man,
It's a good take forever. It could go
it's
on
a good
forever.
question.
Yeah.
So, I would just describe a normal band practice in the summer would be like say 115 degrees Fahrenheit in our little basement.
Okay.
Super hot, super sweaty, shouting at each other.
Right.
I mean, sometimes we start punching each other. Not really, but fighting and
No,
stuff.
I think that's
but
good that's good to point out,
But
because
that's good because
it's not easy, right? It's not easy when you find those guys. It's not easy to have that marriage. It's sometimes, I think people need to know that. I think the audience
of
needs
course
to know
it's
that.
not perfect always.
Right. It's not perfect, because when you're making that music, it's not all just like everybody's holding hands and everything's kumbaya. Sometimes it's tough to make that good music, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right.
But the thing is, we've really found a good pace right now, and we've connected well now. I mean, over the past 2 years, we added the 2 new members, Lelos, the guitarist, and Artemis, our guy who's in charge of the the electronic sounds, like the special effects and stuff.
Right.
So those two guys have been friends of ours for many years before anyway.
Okay.
So basically now we're like set, you know.
Well, that's good to know still, even. So it sounds like, you know, maybe there's a little bit of a process that takes place before you start gelling as a band. So sometimes when you're first coming together and you're starting to make music, there's maybe a little bit of yelling going on back and forth, but then maybe you reach this point and there's a little bit of a gel that starts to happen, and you start to, and I think that's where what sounds like you've done.
Yeah, that's where it goes good afterwards.
That's good, and I think that's good for aspiring artists to understand. Have you guys made any albums yet?
So we made a small EP. Hang on, give me 1 moment, please.
Sure.
Yeah. So that was our first EP.
Very cool.
40% volume. It's a pretty funky design.
I like it.
That's a little angel drinking alcohol, supposedly.
Right.
That was the crazy times. So that was more of a towards punk, I would say, sound from us. And then we now cooling down a bit, going more into indie.
Okay.
And we are busy. We released the second EP. So that one had 6 tracks. We released the second EP now about a month ago with 3 tracks. More indie towards pop. And now we're planning on recording a full album in August with our producer in Germany.
Excellent. And since we're talking about your songs and your music and the hard work that you put in to make your music, how can your fans, is there any way that your fans can get your music? I mean, are you on iTunes, Amazon, or those places, can they purchase your songs right now or not at the moment?
Yeah, so we go with TuneCore, which distributes the music to many online stores. So you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon. You can also stream us on Spotify. And then obviously we release our songs on YouTube, either as lyric videos or music videos.
Fantastic. And one thing I would like to point out before we move on to the next question, because it is very important to me to make sure I state it, is that I think people need to realize how much work goes in to making these fantastic songs that they love. And I want to really state that if you care for these artists, if you care for their music, buy their music. Let's put an end to piracy. Let's put an end to bootlegging music. These artists put lots of time into making this music. Buy their music, buy their music, buy their music. If you like it, buy it. You're supporting them. It's for a good reason, and lots of hard work goes in to making that music. So can I get an amen? That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. So let's move on. Let's talk about some musical influences. I don't. You're here. The rest of the band's not here. We can definitely talk about some of your musical influences, and if you happen to know some of your brothers in the band, what they kind of like, you can mention that as well.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I'll start off with Jacob, the singer. He will listen to all sorts of stuff. He's been listening to Kanye West, to Green Day is like one of his favorite bands of all time.
Cool.
Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, anything really. That's the thing. All of us listen to all sorts of music, and then we'll go to Artemis, who will listen to lots of old school hip hop, new school hip hop, R&B, mixed with some pop music. Going to Lelos, our guitarist, he's a more traditional Cretan boy, as we were saying, because he started off with Cretan music. He likes his Cretan music, but he's into Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rage Against the Machine, as I am, and Cephas. And then Cephas would be a complete mixture. I mean, that guy's completely random. You hear him listening to dubstep, and then 2 minutes later you hear him listening to traditional Greek music, and then metal and whatever.
Awesome.
So random, completely random. And I'm the same also.
It's fantastic. It's a wide range of diversity that you have going on, and I think that's what really brings such a great, unique sound in a band, when you have diversity from different artists and what they like, and then you put that together in a blender. You whip it up, and then there you go. You have Core the band with this unique sound that's fantastic. I'm curious though, and I'm wondering if Cretan music, and that to me, and I'm trying to think of what Cretan music might sound like. Would it be like kind of like a folky type of something with violins, or maybe you can direct us on how we might be able to get a sample of Cretan music. That just sounds like something interested I'd like to research or check out. Is there any piece you can recommend or something?
Yeah, Xylouris. He's the most famous Cretan musician ever, Xylouris.
Look him up.
So yeah, check him out. He's cool, man. I mean, he passed away many years ago, but his brother still tours, and his brother was like playing in Germany a couple months ago.
Sounds really cool, and I don't know if I'm trying to picture it right. I might be wrong, but I'm thinking of like, when you said the one person likes to play violin and different things, it sounds like it has just that nice, unique melodic sound, and I can't really place it until I actually hear it, but I definitely want to check it out.
I can tell you the music was made for war dances, so it's very empowering.
Great.
They used to dance to that. They used to go and fight and give up their lives for the country. So
right, something similar like you might see on the movie Braveheart or something, or the Scottish battle cry. It's reminding me of something like that. That's really cool though. Let's go on as far as is everybody in the band right now? Are you all the original members, or maybe you can talk about that? Is everybody the original Core when you formed?
No, it's three of us are the original Core the band. Jacob, Cephas, and me, myself. We've had a couple of members come and go. I mean, it's like, I think 2 keyboardists, a guitarist. It's been quite a few.
And it just wasn't.
But that's to be expected.
It wasn't just it wasn't like coming together. What happened? I mean, what caused? Because some people might want to know what happens that sometimes when you have to find a new member. I mean, it just wasn't gelling the right way. It wasn't coagulating. You weren't making the right music. What was the main reason why you had to go and find someone else?
Well, every time there's a different reason, right? One time it could be that they just weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. They weren't doing a good enough job, or maybe they weren't consistent enough.
Right.
So we've seen everything really, from not being consistent enough to not doing a good enough job, or even if we've had the one time the person just didn't feel like he wanted to continue with this genre of music, for instance. That was the one time.
Right. And if I'm saying this right, you're saying Core has been together for 5 years, correct?
Yeah, 5 years.
And you're 19, so that means you've basically been with Core since you were like 14, right? I mean, is that correct?
Yeah, I started the band when I was 14. Yeah,
that's pretty exceptional, because that's pretty young. I mean, a lot of bands, they kind of start, they're kind of later in the teens, and they start saying, they make that decision, like you get 17, 18, 16, 17, 18, but 14, that's pretty impressive to be starting out. And I'm going to go on to my next question, but before I do that, I wanted to talk to you about drummers, because we're both drummers, and
yeah.
What made it drums for you, and what is drums to you? Because to me, I think when I play drums, it's a stress relief. It's the heartbeat and the pulse of the band. Basically everybody knows that the bass and the drums go hand in hand together. But to me, it's been a way that, and that's probably another reason why I like rock and heavy metal, because you could really be louder than having to do the soft tempo jazz, which I've done. I was actually, believe it or not, I was all county jazz in middle school, and I was a good jazz player, but it wasn't my, we talked about it wasn't my forte. So I'll give it to you, and you tell me about why drums to you, and how did you get into drumming?
An American guy who's in the military, he sold me a drum kit, electronic drum kit, when I was 11. for my 11th birthday. I'd been playing music from 6 years old, but that was when I really started to like play drums. And I remember my dad went and bought me this kit. And at the time, I didn't like the electronic drums, I remember, like at all. So yes, I did play every day almost, and I started to improve. And then out of trying and to convince my parents, I bought physical drums, and that's when stuff got, you know, more epic for me. And that's when I was like, this is the thing.
Yeah, traditional drums are crazy. I mean, I agree. It's just such a more original, full sound. But I'm just curious, when you say digital drum set, I'm thinking like all the plastic pads, like the rubber pads. Is that pretty much what you had? Because I have 5 drum sets, and one of my drum sets is a Roland V-Mesh kit, and they have the V-Mesh. And I don't know if you played with the V-Mesh yet, but it's got good response. Was that what your kit was like, or was it more like the plastic?
No, the funny thing is it was a really good kit. It was a Roland TD20, I think.
Oh wow! So you did have a pretty good setup there. I was wondering because I don't care for the electronic drum sets that are just all rubber pads. You know, I have a few rubber pads and stuff that are mixed in with my drum set, but at least the drums are that V-mesh where you have a nice response and you can do your moves, you know. So, but I agree.
I sold it. I sold that kit, then I saved up money for like a year and a half, and then I bought myself a nice Tama physical drums. So I now have, and then I bought another electronic drum kit.
Oh yeah.
Because now I actually use them in small gigs and clubs and stuff.
What color is your Tama drum set? Color?
It's like a bluish oyster, I think.
Yeah, that sounds
That's
nice. Cool. My baby is a DW Collector Series feathered walnut kit, and it was very very expensive, but that's what you get when you get a little bit older and you have a little more money to spend. That's what you get.
Oh man!
But
I'm getting myself a Gretsch American Classic.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, are you really? The Gretsch is a nice kit too, man. Wow. Yeah. So it's nice to talk. It's nice. I knew as soon as I saw the profile pic and I saw you in front of the drum set, I said, man, we're gonna have to talk drums a little bit because it's always nice when you get that chance. You know, that's really cool. And Gretsch is good. There's so many good kits. DW, I have a Tama. Gretsch is good. I played on Ludwig. I have a Ludwig. I played on a Slingerland in school. Lots of good kits, and a lot of people don't realize it's really important how you tune them. You know, how you tune them is important and stuff. So, very good. Well, let's move on. What sets Core the band apart from other bands? Let's ask that question.
That's a good question. Well, I think if you see us live, you will understand that we have extreme passion for what we do.
Good.
And that, I guess that sets us apart from many other bands.
And I would imagine when you say that, we're talking some pretty significant energy that's on stage. Your audience really feels you. It's a good time.
Yeah, there's usually a couple people underneath with their jaws dropped, like looking at me playing the drums. Not that I'm very good or anything. It's just the way I play them. Like the way I'm like so focused on you know, just giving it my 100%, 150%. And the same as with Jacob, our singer. He's getting really good at this running about, you know, getting the crowd pumped. There's never a time he has not managed to pump up a crowd.
Well, that's really it, isn't it? I mean, it's not just playing, right? You got all these other factors that play into being a great band, and what is that? Showmanship. We didn't really talk about your image, but I imagine you guys portray some kind of pretty cool image on stage. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, we've got our all black clothes, and usually I will wear some other color at the back, but it's like a serious look that we've got, and it's kind of like our Cretan dressing, because over here the Cretans also wear all black when they're playing music, so it's kind of an influence from that, I would say.
Ties into that.
It's a hidden secret. And the funny thing is we released a single called Dress Code recently.
Okay.
That was in our new EP, and Dress Code is basically that. It talks about that.
Excellent. I just saw a really good band for the first time, and I love seeing new bands for the first time, because you said, you know what, I saw that band at such and such place, and then 3 or 4 years later, it's pretty neat when you see them and they're big and they've made it. But this guy came out in like a Scottish kilt, like almost, and he had some kind of mask on, and he was playing bass, and he was just in his mantra. He was just had his head moving, and it was just so cool. I love Image. A lot of people think you can just go on stage and wear whatever, but I think, yeah, wear your black clothes. It ties into the Cretan and how the Cretan musicians and how they play music. Do that. But I don't think anybody can just say, yeah, I can just go up with jeans and a t-shirt for any type of genre and really get that same type of feeling across to their audience. So the fact that you're wearing the black and you're playing and you're passionate and you got your showmanship going, kudos. I think that's fantastic.
Thanks, man.
You got it. What inspires you to make your music, and who does the songwriting? Is it one person or is it a collective? You want to answer that?
Yeah, so what usually inspires, I'd say I always have inspiration from, I don't know, it's a hard question. Like I would say our singer writes the lyrics, right? So it's up to him what his inspiration is. But the actual music I usually write with our singer, and then everyone just adds on to it. Like in the jam, they'll be like, this sounds good, and we land up adding everything up together and then creating a song, which can happen very quickly, by the way, sometimes.
Yeah,
it could be an hour we have a track.
A lot of times artists come back and they ask that question. A lot of them respond, what's your inspiration? They say life in general. Anything that happens, anything that comes at us, anything we go through at a band. We could be out in a concert and something happens and it's inspiration to write the next song. You know what I mean? So I think music is just, a kind of a continuation of what's happening in life. I think that's a nice, easy way to put it. But you hit it right on the head with what you said as well. Do you have any particular concert venue location that you perform at that you just say that's our favorite place to perform at?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard question.
Or if it's not a particular one right now, is there a particular place where you would like to perform someday? This like Mecca performance place, New York City, Madison Square Garden. We'd like to be at the Colorado, something like that. So if it's something right now that you say, right now in Crete, this place is where we really kill it. Otherwise, if not that, this is our Mecca place to play someday.
Okay, for me it would be Wembley, but I'm not sure about the others.
Yeah, I actually had another artist that said that, I think, and he might have been a bass player. He said Wembley too, so that must be a big place to perform at, I imagine. I've never been.
Yeah, that's an awesome place, I think.
Is it? Yeah, awesome. Good answer. Name your best songs and describe what it took to make them. Your favorite song. You don't have to go into too many songs if you want to just pick one favorite song and what it was to make that song.
Which one?
And you can think of yourself, because I'm sure that question would be different for each person in the band. It might be it might be the same.
Okay, so I'll answer for myself, because I'm not sure of the other guys' favorite songs, to be honest.
Sure.
So I'll go with Dream. That's a track we released on our 6-track EP. It's a song which has a lot of emotion to it, and something that made extremely memorable was that a famous director in Greece decided to put the song in a series that was about a kid with autism, and this kid who loves music happens to become one of our fans, and he's actually singing the song in the series. So it's really touching. And
wow.
Often at performances, the little kid who acted in the series comes to our gigs and he actually sings the songs, and we see him underneath us singing. So that for me is the best thing ever.